What's going on, people? Welcome to the morning view / reflection / flex's view / Man United news / whatever you want it to be. Happy Friday, 29th of December. Hope you guys are doing well. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Still on a little bit of a buzz from the quiz actually last night. I didn't win, but it was just a good event. It was just fun. It was just good. You know what I mean? So, yes, big up to Palmeiras who actually won as well. And everyone who got involved in the quiz, a lot of people messaged me saying how enjoyable they thought it was, etc., etc. So we'll definitely do more of that in the future. Now, straight to the news, man. Short, sharp, and sweet this morning. So much going on at Man United, and I've gone with this situation, which we have to talk about, with Andre Onana finally officially selected for AFCON in January. And we kind of thought that would happen. There's been some ums and some ahs. Is he going to go? Is he not going to go? What does it look like? And then there was sort of lots of reports saying that he's concerned about losing his first team place if he goes, so he might not go, and all of this stuff. Well, we know he's going. And that's, as you can see on the thumb, in or out. In or out. And what I mean by that is Andre Onana needs to make his mind up of what he wants to do, because you can't do both, Andre. Yeah? You can't play in AFCON, then get back on a plane really quickly in between games and come play for us in the Premier League and then go. It's in or out. Have no problems with Andre Onana going to AFCON. You know what I'm saying? He's finally found himself back in the Cameroon squad after, you know, some turbulent times during the World Cups and falling out with Etu and Song, etc., etc. A load of sort of controversies going on there. But, you know, I'm not one of these people that gets annoyed that AFCON comes around, players are going to go. When you sign African players, you know what it means to them. It's a massive tournament, one that's ever growing as well. And there's so many great players, so many great African players that get to play in it. And they should. You know what I mean? It's a huge, huge tournament for countries from that part of the world. So absolutely they should be playing. But in Onana's case, this whole in or out thing, we need some clarity on that. And what I mean by that is I'm going to draw straight to our friend Rob Dawson at ESPN, and he's reported yesterday that Andre Onana is in talks with the Cameroon FA to attempt to delay his release for the African Cup of Nations. The Man United goalkeeper has been named in the Cameroon squad ahead of the tournament, which starts in the Ivory Coast on January the 13th. He goes on to read that Onana, the £43 million signing from Inter, has indicated he will participate, but according to a source, wants to limit time away from Old Trafford as much as possible. Cameroon was set to hold a warm-up match against Saudi Arabia, where they will play a friendly against Zambia on the 9th of Jan. However, Onana is keen to make himself available for United's FA Cup game against Wigan, which is on the 6th of January at the DW Stadium. And Cameroon begin their campaign against Guinea on January 25th. So basically, to sum that up, Rob Dawson's saying that he's accepted that he's going to AFCON, right? He's accepted that he's going to be part of the AFCON squad for Cameroon. He's accepted that he wants to go, but he wants to limit the time that he's away from Man United. But unfortunately, Andre, and this is like I'm talking to you, bro, unfortunately, that's not how this works. Like, if you sign up to go play for your country, you go play for your country and you give them your all. I'm not Cameroonian, but if I was, I'd be saying, what kind of commitment is that to the cause? Like, is he more interested about his Man United career than he is us as our country? And look, as fans of club football, a lot of us sometimes say, listen, club over country, you know, I'm English, so I can, I say, I want Man United to do better than England, etc., etc. But for many, many countries around the world, especially people as proud as Cameroonians and a lot of sort of African nations, extremely, extremely patriotic, extremely proud. He's already been out of the squad since World Cup. And again, I'm not Cameroonian, but I'm thinking how they must feel. Like, what sort of message does that send? That he's now back in the squad, being able to have the privilege to represent Cameroon at AFCON in 2024. And he's like, I'll come to this bit, but maybe not to that bit. That doesn't look good. And then from our point of view now, this is where it is the Man United fan talking in me. And I hope, I don't know if you guys agree, let me know. We've got another goalkeeper called Bayindir, who has not played a single minute or kicked a single ball this season because Andre Onana has been in net. And because, when he's had tough times and there's been calls to drop him and he's, had some real bad form at different parts of the season, Erik ten Hag has decided to stick with him. He's decided to stick with him. But it's in or out. It's in or it's out. You can't have it both ways. As I say, you can't have your cake and eat it. And for us, as United, excuse me, what's best for us? Well, we've got a goalkeeper in Bayindir who's never played for us yet. I don't ideally want him to be coming in to the Tottenham game and that's his first ever game he's played for us. High pressure game at Old Trafford, Tottenham coming there on the front foot, and that's the first time. Actually, from a selfish, not even selfish point of view, from a view that's best for the club, it's probably best that Andre Onana does go to AFCON in its entirety. And that game against Wigan on the 6th of January at the DW Stadium, and I'm not being disrespectful to Wigan and saying we'll walk all over them, it's easy. But let's be honest, if you're going to choose a game for Altay Bayindir to get used to English football and just get a little bit of a feel for things before a couple of weeks later, I think he plays Spurs, then that would be the game. Let that be the game. We have to see this guy play. And Andre Onana, look, if he's that worried about his first team place at Old Trafford, I'd say one of two things. One, you need to believe in your ability more because, you know, you should have confidence that Altay Bayindir is not going to displace you and you've got the relationship with the manager that when you come back, you're going to be the number one, which it should be on merit. I understand that. But with goalkeepers, it's a bit different. The number one is the number one. So as soon as there's an injury or, you know, a little bit of illness to the number one and the number two steps in, there's always a genuine understanding that the number one's going to step back in as soon as he's fit. But that's Andre Onana. That's on Andre Onana. And secondly, I would say, if you're that concerned about you missing out at Man United, Andre, don't go to AFCON. Reject the invitation. You can't have your cake and eat it. You can't do both. And a lot of the, excuse me, a lot of the, you know, sort of opinion online from what I'm seeing is a lot of people saying go. Like, you know, you've decided to go and play for Cameroon. Nobody's saying he shouldn't do that as well, by the way. And that's what I have to stress here. There's nobody saying like, oh, why on earth is Andre Onana going to AFCON? We need him. Like, no, not at all. And you know what? Had he have been a lot better than he was, maybe there would be more rallying cries. Maybe there would be less people who are understanding to the side of the patriotism and what it means for players to participate at the African Cup of Nations, which I've obviously never had a problem. But I have always seen some sort of people online or some people, which I really don't like. I'm definitely against that, is when people, like I said, moan that players from Africa have to go to AFCON. You know this when you buy players of African heritage. And I do think AFCON is disrespected actually as a massive tournament, whether it will be the level or the facilities or the obviously the officiating. Sometimes you get memes and videos of stuff like that, and I do think AFCON is disrespected, and I think that's wrong. So this isn't about, and most people are not saying this isn't about why does he have to go to AFCON. It's about him having 1 foot in, 1 foot out, 9 settings. Do you know what I'm saying? What you can't do both. And Rob Dawson sort of talking about it as well. Cheap promoting is a very good. Oh no, I don't need to read that bit. So I'm just trying to see if there was any updates on that. No, so there isn't. So yeah, it's something that needs sorting. It's something that I can see that most people are like, listen, Onana, you can't have your cake and eat it. You can't do both. You can't want to half go to African Cup of Nations, but you're scared that you might lose your place. That's not how it works, mate. You know what I mean? And Bayindir, like, we've got a second goalkeeper. We want to see him play. Do you know what I mean? It's a you problem if he's better than you. Do you know what I mean? Like, if Altay Bayindir plays and he's absolutely fantastic, of course there's going to be cries from the fans to say, start this guy, start Bayindir. You know, he might not be as good with his feet, but I tell you what, his fundamentals are sound. And you know what? I haven't seen much of Bayindir. Ironically now, because of this news, there's loads of comps of him making saves. That's usually what happens. I'm not going to profess to buy into that. But that could easily happen. Could you see a world where Bayindir plays a couple of games and just his mechanics and his fundamentals and his basics look more clean than Onana? I can see that because Onana's an unorthodox goalkeeper. But what I can also see is, me personally, I think with the faith that Erik ten Hag showed in Andre Onana, I think it's clear he's the number one. And I don't think he has anything to worry about coming back from AFCON, because I think Erik ten Hag, no matter what, will be stern enough to still stick with Onana and keep his word. Maybe I'm being naive to think that, but that's genuinely what I believe. And maybe Onana should think that as well, so he doesn't have to do this one fit in, one out thing. And also, it's unsettling for the squad. The players that are remaining here who aren't going to AFCON need to know or need to get acquainted with Bayindir as quickly as possible. And if that can happen in a game that's against a team in a lower division in the FA Cup 6th round at the DW Stadium, then that's when it should happen. It shouldn't be prolonged and make it be in a more higher stake game, a more difficult game at Old Trafford against a tough Spurs team because Andre Onana wanted to do a bit of both. No, that's not how this works. Man United Football Club, if you want to go to international duty, you go to international duty. If you don't, you don't, and you stay and you play for this football club. That's it. That's it. So I hope this gets sorted out. I hope this doesn't rumble on and on. And me personally, I hope Man United sort of push back a little bit and say, listen, Andre, no problems with you going to AFCON, but go and let us deal with this and hurry up and make a decision. It was even and ahhing and being a little bit in the dark as to whether he was even down or eligible or wanted to go to AFCON in the first place. Now he said that he wants to go and he's been selected. Now it's a bit of, but can I do this? But can I do that? No, you're on international duty. And for all the Cameroonians who have supported you and the Cameroonian Federation who have you've made amends with and stuff like that, do it for them. Do it for them. If I was a Cameroon fan, I'd be thinking, what sort of commitment is this? So hopefully it gets sorted out. Let me know your thoughts. Do you mind? Do you want Onana to stay for as long as possible because you want to keep seeing him getting better? Or do you agree with me? It's a general consensus that actually, if you choose to go on international duty, you go on international duty for 100% of its form and not cherry pick. Unfortunately, not that anybody should, but you're not Lionel Messi. And even Lionel Messi don't do that. He don't be in MLS, but then he's got to do Copa America duties of Argentina and say, I want to stay here for a little bit longer and then cherry pick the game. And he's the GOAT. So, yeah, if he's not doing it, Andre Onana shouldn't be doing it. Take care, people. I'll let you see the preview coming up. We've got a preview coming up with Forest Fan TV. That's going to be really, really interesting. Forest doing big bits. So look out for that. Press conference later on today as well. So we'll be in touch with you guys for that as well. Take care, guys. I'm out of here. Peace.